Welcome back to class, dear students. In this course, I will be taking you through how to build your first Solana mobile decentralized application. That's Solana Mobile dApp. And it's not something so huge or complex or something. It will just be a basic, as you can see it on the screen, which you will be able to connect your wallet, and then it will give you some details about your wallet, which this was built from the official repo, which you will see together how we'll fork it and everything like that. So if we connect our wallet, it will tap. You can use Phantom, you can use Solflare, so any one of it. Let's use this first, and then you have, so we'll go through this step by step, how you set up, and you are saying that I'm running this in an emulator, so you'll be able to learn the basic essential thing is about, you will learn the connect, you will learn about Solana mobile stack, how to develop with it, what are the things you need, and most importantly, for those of you that are just new to Web3 development and would like to go into Solana development mobile aspect, then I'm going to take you through first on React Native, because that's what we are going to use. You can see this a fix, so anyway, so it's on Devnet, so you can easily just get this for development. It's not really so that you can sell. So then you can as well click here to get more airdrop. You can see it, and if it goes on, you'll be able to see it right there. So you see it now that it's just for development. And like I said, I can use multiple wallets. I can also, I need to disconnect first. Yeah, so I can connect as well with Solflare. Those are the two major wallets now that are compatible with Solana Mobile Wallet Adapter. So those are the options, but by the time you'll be watching, you might have had other wallet and some other option. They say the same, something is not real, so it's just this that's showing the value. Now you'll be able to build this together step by step, but like I told you, the most important thing are what you want to learn, which is learning how to actually build mobile dApp, and you can run it in emulator and in actual device like Android. Yeah, also you'll be able to run it with iOS, but presently, as I'm the time I did this video, this template is more for Android, but going through, you'll still be able to run it on iOS and things like that. So this will cover everything that you need to know basically, because when you talk about Solana mobile development, just about 75 to 85% of it is pure Web 2, using your normal app development language, maybe like React Native and more like that. So the other one, 10-25%, that's when you integrate and interact with Solana blockchain. So we will cover everything step by step. So that's what we will build together, and you can as well receive, you see the wallet, and we'll do all this together. So for us to get started to build this, let's first talk about, I will put timestamp based on each of these sections to make it easier, and when you check link in the description, you will see it as well. So at the same time, if you like what I'm doing, please consider using the donate button, donate link below, because doing this takes a whole of my week to deliver this every weekend. So it's not been easy, but as long as you are showing up, I'm also ready to continue to create more helpful courses to help you get started into Solana development and get even much better into Solana development and Web3 as a whole. And at the same time, you can subscribe to the email list for weekly updates on maybe job offers going on in Solana and Web3 ecosystem, Web3 tools I discover, or courses that will be coming up. All those, as the list goes to a point, I will start doing that every week. So that's it, and let's go into the course fully. Welcome, dear friend. I'm Solomon Foske, founder of the Programming University, a free Web3 development education platform. Please note our content are for education purpose only, not financial, trading, investment, programming or development advice into any of the platform discussed. Always do your own research. And please, we may get sponsorship, partnership, token or whatever form during, before or after creating this content, but we try as much as possible to remain unbiased and make it educative. If that agreed on, let's get right into this content. Yeah, the first one we talk about is Solana Mobile Stack. So what does this entail? It's basically, you would have read online and things like that, entails about 3 things, but I have extended it to about 5, and that will lead us into other sections that we'll be discussing. So the first one talk about mobile wallet adapter. So this help to connect between Solana. You can see it. This is the mobile wallet adapter. This help us connect between Solana, blockchain, compatible wallet and things like that with our mobile application, which will now become a dApp, mobile dApp. So these are some graphics, something about how it works. So we also have it for web. If in the last course we built our Solana DEX using Jupyter Swap API, so that was on the web. But now we are talking and we use the Solana Wallet Adapter. But here now there's a dedicated mobile wallet adapter if you are building on mobile, so which is more native to mobile. So that's the number one thing you should have in mind. So if you want to build for mobile, don't go and use you are building a native app like Android or iOS app. Don't go and use the web version, use the mobile wallet adapter. It makes it like a protocol that makes it easier. Once a user have any of those compatible wallets on their Android phone or iOS, then it automatically communicates with them, and then you can sign and things like that, which that is what you saw from the initial this that I did, that immediately I click on connect or disconnect. If I click now, you will see that it will show that those app, you can see it. So all these are the work of the mobile wallet adapter. That's why it's so important. Then the second one of it is called Seed Vault. So what Seed Vault is, there's no much yet, because Seed Vault is like an inscription between, just like your wallet and all these things now, that replace like wallet. It's like it's built-in wallet, so that when you deal with multiple apps on your phone, you don't need to, like now this wallet, you will still get to the level when you want to install them. Each of them you need to move, maybe wallet now, your key from maybe Solflare to Phantom, Phantom to Solflare, to Backpack and things like that, which can risk issue with your keys, your private key, and other things you need to keep private. But the seed phrase, it become so easy for you because you don't need to move. Everything is encrypted inside the seed vault, inside your phone, and whenever any app need it, it's just like you have your Apple Pay and things like that to just pop up within the app. Like this now, you always need to go and open to the wallet and come back. You won't need that. And currently that is only going to be available on the Solana official phone, like the Seeker and things like that. So you can check on, I think, Solana Mobile, for more details about the device. So you can see it, the seed vault will be in and makes it much easier. But for now, maybe in future as well, it might be in other like devices apart from this. But presently now, and it's powered by Solflare, is basically just within the Seeker phone or any other model based on the time you'll be watching the video. So now, the other third important thing is the Solana dApp store. So it's just like you have your Android Play Store, you have iOS Market App Store. So also is Solana having its own dApp store. So, and it aimed to be able to make it much friendly for blockchain, crypto related applications, dApps. Because when you look at it, the normal Android store, iOS App Store, and all those stores in Web2 are not usually friendly to Web3 apps because of maybe crypto or NFT or payment and things like that. So they are not that friendly, but I believe gradually they are opening up and they may adopt it more and make it more friendly. So I think that's why Solana came up with that dApp store, so that you can also have your store, your dApp there without issues and a lot of things like that, and all those issues that you will have with the normal Web2 store. And also it's like it doesn't remove like 30% of Apple and things and a lot of other stores like that. So those are the three major things you will hear about Solana mobile stack. But I said I've added about 2 to it, and the fourth one is wallet apps, which are the likes of Solflare, Phantom, and more that you will need to interact. Your user will need, because if your user are not on Solana Seeker or any other official Solana phone, they may not have access to the seed vault. So as important as the seed vault is secured and more as it has been described, for anyone that doesn't have access to such phone with it can, and you know there are a lot of users that don't. So that means they rely on the wallet dApps. So that is also very important. And the last fifth one that I added to it is the Solana Mobile Stack Development Language and Framework. So you need to know what are the programming languages, what are the development languages you need when you want to build for Solana Mobile. So, and currently Solana Mobile supports multiple languages like React Native, Kotlin, Flutter. You can use Flutter, and for like game can use Unity and Unreal Engine. So those are multiple times. I feel the Solana mobile stack is not complete without those 5 things. So maybe in future, if Seed Vault becomes something, the wallet might be removed, but you cannot remove, when it comes to developer, that 5 things, especially the language and the framework you can use to build mobile dApps that you can have on Solana store or use to interact with Solana blockchain. So I think those are the major things for this section. And if you got questions, don't forget to ask in the comment, and remember to like and share the video if you find it helpful. Like I told you, this isn't easy for me doing and bringing you every weekend. It's a full-time work for me throughout the week, building and testing this thing to create this video. So please, I will appreciate you you share the video. Let this hit 100 likes, and then more videos will keep coming. So thank you for that. Now, also join the email list as well. Let's move on to the second part, which is the official docs to check out. So before we start developing, I want you to essentially understand the official docs we will need, because like I told you, we'll be touching not just Solana, but we'll be starting afresh from using React Native with Expo. So we'll learn a lot, build a sample app first with React Native and Expo before we now move to that, because I'm so conscious of a lot of you as beginner trying to build your Solana dApp, mobile dApp for the first time, and most of you will not even have the knowledge, and you think, oh, it's not different. It's just the same knowledge that carry like 75-85% of what you need. So I need to put you through that so that I can prepare you for it. And if you are just in Web 2, this section will also help you when you learn about React Native, building with it and things like that. So now let's the first one, like we've already seen it here, is the Solana mobile doc. All the links and everything will be linked, will be in the description. So this is the Solana mobile doc, which I recommend. And you know, I am a very, very good advocate of AI for developer, and you don't joke with it. But the best is when you are dealing with a lot of these projects, especially as a beginner, take some time to go through their documentation, official documentation, get familiar with a lot of things. Just read through. Forget about trying to remember them. Just read. One good thing about your brain is that for the fact that you have read about them, by the time you start using AI tool and building, you will be surprised how much you've learned. You might have forgotten them, but your brain will keep remembering because you have read it. But if you have not gone through, you have not even seen it at all, then most of this AI most time are not up to date with changes that go on the official doc. So you want to make sure so that you can even correct the AI when it's going out of hand or giving you outdated setup. So that's why it's so important. And we'll also be using the React Native official doc as well. So this is the React Native, link also in description. Then we'll be going through the Expo documentation as well. So those are the 3 documentation we will need. So before I leave this section, I want to quickly answer some essential questions for you as beginner. And some of it is, 1, what is React Native and why use it? You know, there are different ways you can build mobile application. So depending on what you want to build, are you building normal user base, just non-game based mobile application? Then you can use things like Flutter, like React Native, and more Kotlin. Kotlin is default for Android, official Android, I think official Android language. So Kotlin. But if you are building games, then you may want to consider things like Unity and Unreal Engine. So now we are focusing on React Native. And why are we using it? Because React Native is one of the leading mobile-based development language built on React. And you know React is JavaScript based. So that means one is JavaScript based, and most of you, especially if you have been a existing student on the programming university, you're already more into JavaScript and JavaScript related. So this makes it easier for you to learn. But aside from that, the other benefit is that it's one of the most widely used and is built and maintained by, I think, Facebook and Meta, which is now Meta company and things like that, and a lot of popular company and projects has been built with it. Another advantage is that whatever you build with it, you can build for cross-platform, like mobile. When you build once, your code can generate native app on Android at the same time app for iOS. So instead of building iOS separate, building this separate, it make your code base one and easier for you to manage. You understand what I'm saying? So that's one of the major advantage, apart from being like JavaScript React based and making it easier if you are familiar with JavaScript related development and tools like that. So that's another very essential advantage. The second essential that I want to talk about after what is React Native is what is Expo and why use it. So Expo, if you have been developing with, in web, Expo is just the same like you have Next.js for React. So is Expo for React Native. So if we even go here, we go to the React Native, they themselves recommend, using Expo, you understand, for building, because I kid you not, I myself, I tried it. There are a lot of basic things you will have to build yourself if you are using pure React Native. And part of advantage of Expo using it as a framework of React Native is like pure React Native has no routing, which are like all these not easily route together and things like that. Your navigation as well, no push notification, haptic feedback like as people click and things like that. So a lot of these things you have to build it in, apart from the base essential feature of your app. You don't want to spend much time on that. So Expo put all these features together to make it super easier. So, and they have a lot of other tools as well to make it easier. So then the third one in this other essentials is that what are the differences between Expo Go, development, build, and EAS? Because these are the things you will come across when you are building and you start wondering, what does this mean, and things like that. So when you are building, we will see all this together. Like if you want to build Solana now with Solana, you will need development, build. So you need to understand what is the difference with Expo Go and things like that. And the major difference is that Expo Go is basically an app, like a sandbox app. We will do all these things together. I just want you to learn more and have idea before we go in. Is Expo Go is like a sandbox that makes it easier for you to run your mobile app without really setting up too much of development environment and things that make it even much faster to test these things. But it has a drawback, like it only have limited support, limited dependency and packages. So if you are using some packages like Solana Mobile Wallet Adapter and things like that, it doesn't support it. So you will need development build. And then you have EAS, which is like Expo application services that allow you to build your app remotely online, and so that you, even if you don't have your normal development environment set, you can easily build it remotely. But aside from that, they offer other advantage. So I think it's time for us to get building now. So that's why I said this is focusing for beginners. In future weekends, as I drop more courses weekends, let me know what do you want me to build on the mobile Solana Mobile Development Course series. So, but next week might not be mobile, might be on web and things like that. Maybe we'll be, shifting it together like that, because I got some more other exciting things I want us to build as well, and tools to learn to use to, make things easier for you as developer on Solana and Web3 as a whole. Let's now move to the third section. Like I said, I will put timestamp so you can jump to any section that you want. If yours is just you're already building just the Solana aspect purely, if you are experiencing React Native Expo, then good. If not, I will encourage you to stick and follow. So set up React Native Development Environment. So if we go inside the doc, we go inside the Solana doc and use the quick start. It tells us that as a prerequisite, and if we have the option to use Expo or React Native, and I've told you that it seems even the Solana mobile team might also be removing pure React Native, because the fact is these things are complex to build with. So now we'll be focusing more on Expo. So how do you build it out? Like I told you, I want us to start building, then we'll now start learning from that. So they have the SDK and everything. We'll come back to this, but the first one we want to do is Expo itself. And for us to start building, he said we need to run npx create expo latest. So copy, and it's time to get building. So I think I have this, and I can open your folder that you want, and then we can paste this. Usually I like to use pnpm, so you are free to use anyone like this. Now if you want to use pnpm, you just put p here, and this get us the latest. So we want to run this command. If you put the pnpm and enter, so creating a Expo project using default template. So these are the flag. If you have example and template, you can check them out. So we want to give it a name, so we can just first mobile app. So we can just call this first mobile app. So remember, it's for you to learn. I've told you that it is essential you understand, because this actually carries the 75 to 85% of Solana mobile development. So if as a beginner, I will encourage you you take time to, and by the time you are done with this course, you'll be prepared to actually now be building with Solana mobile development. So we want to run first mobile app. Let's enter and then extract. So it's installing, it has extracted the template. It's now installing with the package. So if you have used npx, it would have been using npm. So to install the packages. Yeah, we have it done now. As you can see it, your project is ready. To run your project, navigate to the directory and run one of the following. So it gave us this instruction. We need to cd into it. So we enter the folder for the app. So we are right there now, which you can see it, first mobile app. Then we want to run some other things, but instead of that, maybe you are using VS Code, you can open it. But I'm using AI IDE to like cursor, so that I can open it for us in cursor. So we got this now, and you can talk with the AI, but let's close the AI. So instead, I will run you through some of these things now, but before that, let's do and learn some more things. So like if you are building your app, continue to environment setup. Once we have done that, the next is that you want to set up your development environment. So for most project, programming language, framework and things like that, they always have their own specific development environment. So just like your web, you normally have your Node.js, your package manager like npm and things like that, and then maybe some other things. But a lot of those things you build them on the web, but now you are building for mobile. So you also need your mobile phone, maybe your Android or your iOS device, and also an emulator, so that you can at least get on the screen like we have this. So without the actual device to quickly prototype some things like that. So this Expo guide now gives the guide for you to select which one do you want to use. So if you're on iOS, if you're on Android emulator or iOS simulator. So like I told you, it's so important as well to use those emulator sometime, and at the same time the physical device, to actually have a feel of how the app will be for your user. So we have those options, and for you to, how would you like to develop? So Expo Go, I've explained, the sandbox for trying out Expo quickly. A development build is a build for your own app that include Expo's developer tool. So we want to pick the development build, because later on you will see you need this. So I want you to have experience, but we also use Expo Go, so you have experience because in future we don't know, Solana Expo Go might also support even third party, making it even much easier to develop and test your Solana mobile dApp. So but for now it doesn't, and a lot other things, not just Solana, because it's limited. So you always use this, but let's start first with Expo Go. When you select it, there's link in the description for this page. Once, remember I came here, once you go to the dock and the quick start, then you click, then continue to set up, then you can start selecting it. So here now we can select Android emulator first, and then Expo Go to have an experience of it. Then you can select this Mac OS works for both Linux and Mac OS. And then if you're on Windows, this is how the setup you will need to follow. So they are the same thing. You need to open Android Studio Setup under Install Setup Android and things like that. So you can see it. Download Android Studio. So if you're on Windows, you just download the Android Studio. But if you're on Mac, you can as well download the Android Studio and click More Actions and SDK Manager. So then you go to here. I will open the Android Studio for you. We'll try to see. But I want something to be more clearer here. When you are setting this up, if we click here now, we get something much clearer here, which is, you can see now. I think this is why I said we should pick the development to give you an idea. This is how you set up your development environment, which is important. Even if you will use EAS that will help you build it remotely, I will recommend, if you are truly serious about actually becoming a pro mobile developer, now integrating blockchain, Solana and things like that, then you want to actually have your development environment where you can easily test things up, because even the EAS, you still need to build it locally, or else when you are building remotely, the free account has maybe 15 build maximum per month. So all those things you need to put it into consideration. And then let's look at Linux. Now, Mac, the same. You have the package such as Homebrew, then you install Watchman, then open JDK. These are the two major things. Then before we move to the Android Studio setup, you see that if I click here, that initial setup is gone, but it doesn't mean I don't need Android Studio. I still need it. So that's so important. So now we set this. Don't mark this yet, so that we can have all this option. So follow this to install, and then on Windows as well, you can follow the instruction for JDK. And on Linux, like I'm using now, these are the things you also need. So I will say you need to have Rust. So if you have been building on Solana, you have it. But if you are not, for some of you that just in Web 2 and trying to now start developing in Web 3, you need Rust. Then you need to install Watchman, as you can see here. So, and you can now install JDK, which is Java. So if you follow each of these instructions, they are detailed there, and these are where you can also use your AI. Wherever you are stuck, just ask your AI tool, whichever your GPT, Grok, or more that you might be using. They will be there to help you out. So if we look at this now, setup, once you install that, you want to install the Watchman as well, and the next one you will install is the JDK. So once you follow the instruction and confirm everything is installed, then you want to install Android Studio. Like I told you, this both for, if you just visit Android Studio, is able website is able to pick if you are on Linux or things like that, or you just go on the download and get it downloaded. So when you have it, then you come back here. The guide is so helpful. That's why I say using the official doc will help you. So you want to open this and go to language. Let's open this. This is it. You want to open it, and you want to go to this settings icon. Oops, it's not showing the settings. Then that gives you a lot of appearance, editor and things like that. You want to go under languages and frameworks, and you want to locate Android SDK. And in that Android SDK, it's so important. That's why I'm showing you this. I'm not going to be installing one by one because I've already installed. Just follow it. But these are things that you need to check to confirm if you have set it up correctly or not. You want to go to the Android SDK, and then you'll be able to see a lot of things like this. So make sure if this show package details is not marked, make sure you mark it so that it shows details of these things. You can see it, and then you want to make sure these things are installed. Android SDK platform 35, source for Android, Intel Atom system image, Google Play Intel Atom system image. All these things are essential for the simulator or emulator that we'll be making use of. So, and depending on when you'll be watching, you want to choose the Android. So there's a specific, you can see the Watchman, for example, under this. When you talk, let's check here. For environment setup, you see it. Getting started with React Native. I am intentionally using this doc because a lot of these things changes from time to time, and going through them will help you a lot. So that in case what I'm showing you now in a week or 2 weeks time or a month time might have changed. So going to the doc itself help you because there's chances that they might update it, and they also let you know the version that is compatible with. So if you are using React JS, for example, and you are installing JDK, that's Java something, so the specific version, I think currently is about maybe 23 or 26 or something, but the best that React Native currently recommend is 17. So all those things are what you want to check. Why it's essential you use the official doc itself, so that whatever they recommend, if I am using 17 in this video, but currently they are recommending 20, please use 20, because every other thing you install should also follow that order so that you don't have issue. And by the time you'll be watching, the Android version might be 16 or 17 or 20. So you should ensure you follow that instruction. All the ones you need to select, they're already here. That's why it's explained here. They tell you the versions you need to pick. If you go to the setup there, so you have the version for now that I'm picking. Developing is 15, that's recommended by the React Native doc. So you can see them here. Then you want to click the SDK too as well, and ensure all these are as well installed. So this NDK, you might not see it straight, but if you see it, you can install it. If not, by the time you are doing your first installation, like using your emulator and things for the first time, you will see it there. Then ensure the Android emulator as well is selected based on the platform, the version that you are using. You see it, Android SDK platform 2 and Android emulator. So then you click apply. When you click apply, it will install. These are heavy sizes, so you should prepare your mind. Each of it can be like 700 megabytes, 1.5 gigabyte, and together this thing can easily run to 5, 6, 7 gigabytes together if you are doing it for the first time. So keep that in mind. So now we have this setup. So with the Android setup now, you want to make sure you set up your path environment. So this path environment, if you don't have it, things will not work. That's why I'm taking the time. If you feel this section is boring and you are a beginner, then you are not ready for this, because any developer experience knows that one of those most boring aspects of development is environment setup, especially for a bit complex development like mobile. If you don't get anything right, then every other building you are trying to do is a waste of time because it will not work. So you want to make sure you copy and run this to put. These are places you can screenshot and send to your AI and ask question if you are stuck. So finally, once you have it, you should be able to, now run. Make sure you can run ADB. So here as well, apart from this, you should be able to run ADB to know the devices you have, which at this time you can connect your Android device. As well, if I run ADB, for example, you can see this now. It's not showing me error. Instead, it's showing me the options that I have and the devices. So I think if I run ADB, I think devices. Yeah, so it will give me list of devices. You can see it. It's currently emulator device, which is this emulator we are running. And if I connect, you can try it, just connect your Android device to your cable to your PC, and then you run that ADB. It should be able to show that device for you. Once it shows the device, that is sign that your device and your emulator are ready to go for development. So please, you can pause, you play this, especially following this guide and the official one in the documentation for the React Native itself. It will help you a lot, specifically the version that's currently working with at that point in time. So then if we go through install Expo Div client, so you can enable debugging and all those things over USB. So another thing, all this one also tells you about debugger. You need to enable debugger because you are now as a developer. So you need to go and open your settings or build number and tap it like 7 times. All these instructions, please follow it. I'm just trying to let you understand. You can see it, how important it is. And run the following from this command on the development server building your app. You can skip and run Expo start. So we'll do this together, but this environment setup is the section we have now, and it's so important for you. Once you have and run the ADB devices and you are able to see, and for you to run the emulator is also there. You go here, go to virtual devices, then you will not have all this. So the first thing you want to do is to click and set them up. You see, like you want to set up small device, I recommend you set up small, medium, and maybe these pixels, because if you see the width is different. So if you want to see it based on different width, and what I've observed, even the small, I can extend it, the screen. That's why you saw that emulator is as big as this. The default small size emulator is not as big as this when you run it. So, but if you can draw it like this, no, at the edge somehow, and then you extend it a bit. So you want to pick, you can set as many as possible, and as you set them, you have them here, and you see that this is playing and say I can stop it, but other ones are not. So, and remember not to usually play multiple of them, because this emulator is just like you are running your normal Android phone or your iOS if it's in your Mac. These things consume a lot of RAM. So this can consume up to like 5 gig RAM or more. So depending on what you are even doing there. So see it like you are running app and things like that. So you want to get all that done as well. Once we have that, the next is to, which is like the next section 4, is to create a new React app, with which we have already done before. So we did it here. and that's how we open up the project over here. So once you have that, please, you can pause and take the timestamp. If you are a beginner into mobile development, trying to learn React Native and Expo as a beginner, I recommend, please don't follow the no, you don't need mobile environment. You don't, maybe you just want to get excited to see some things and use the EAS, but if you want to use emulator and things like that, you need that environment. So, and since you plan to develop for long term, building different mobile dApp and things like that, then I want to recommend you should please. It takes about 1 to 3 hours, depending on your network and your understanding, to figure things out following the docs. Then you understand. So once you have that, we want to initiate, and then the section 5, you now focus on, you want to install the dependency for your app. So which is the next thing we want to do. Yeah, like I said, in the next section, before we run this app, I want to quickly take you through the overview of React Native Expo project. So as a beginner, you need to understand especially some core components of React Native to help you build app, which if you don't know this, I keep repeating it, this carry about 75 to 85% of Solana mobile development when you are using React Native. So the same for other ones if you are using Flutter. If you don't really get good on those tech stack themselves, it's of no use trying to now build on Solana, because those are the things. Solana is just being integrated like 25% of it or less of the actual building of whatever you want to build on mobile app. So now let me quickly go through. If you look at the React Native, after the introduction, if you click next, you come to this core component. Like I told you, there will be link in the description. And I'm also thinking maybe in case I'm not able to fix everything in the description, if you need it, join the email list and make a request. I may be able to send you the text format of all these things and the link you need for each of these learning per each section. So we are in like step 5 for this now, which we are looking at overview of React Native Expo project. So if we look at this core, it's so essential. I want us to quickly go through that. If we are talking about mobile, we usually refer to view, screen and things like that compared to web. And this is like a breakdown. In Android, view is the basic building block of UI, a small rectangle element on the screen which can be used to display text, image and things like that. So when you look at this now, this is an example of a view, image view, text view and things like that. And depending on if you're on Android, it's called view group, and if you're on iOS, it's called UI view. So, and you see that each of those display you have on your phone is usually view based on different view, image view, things like this, like that come together to make all these things. So now, what are the native component things you will learn and is essential for you to get? These are the essential things I want you to as well keep in mind if compared to when you are coming from web development. So when you look at this React Native UI component, you will see more of view. For example, if we go inside this app and tab and go inside index, then you begin to notice something like theme text, themed view. This theme view are basically like styling. So the actual thing is view and text, but this one now is like a customized styling for the text and something. So when you are saying this, you notice you are not saying anything like p tag for paragraph, nothing like div, things like that. So instead of that, they are replaced. Like view now is just the same like you are used to div in your web app, so for mobile. And when you see text, it's like paragraph, so you can see it. It's like you are talking about new paragraph, but because this is like more customized, that's why it's themed. But just overlook that and you can understand it now that you can see view and text and things like that. You see that view, this text is wrapped inside view. For example, if you look at this, you see it, the text. Let me bring this also bigger. Yeah, you will notice that this view then wrap the text, just like you will have div will wrap your paragraph, and then you can put in everything. This understanding these basic things will help you a lot to be able to, you know, at least comprehend things better. Other ones like image, normally you will use img, but they use the full something and note the capital. Then scroll view also for div. So the scroll view, as you can see, like parallax scroll view. Like I told you, all these ones you are seeing is like pre-configured style. So the basic one you will see is this, but you see that is a scroll view. So it's inside it is where we now have every other thing. So this can also represent a div, but they have. So I'm not really going to be going deep, but just to give you a summary, an overview of all these things, so that it's so essential for you to understand them. So as you build, you will understand. And since most time you'll be prompting AI to create this thing, it's good for you to have an overview idea of what these things before you start prompting the AI, and in case some things also go wrong. And also when you have idea of these things, you can prompt the AI to get better results. So then you have the text input, which normally your normal input for like input feed and things like that. So, and you can see example of how this was used here. So that's just the major something there. And another thing is, if you are building React for the first time, I want you to also go through this. Like I said, if I get a request, I may put this and may reply you through mail, but you have to be on the email list first and request through a reply from there, maybe from the welcome mail or something. So, and a lot of things you need to quickly learn about React, like component, JSX, props, and state. So components are the rest introduction to React uses this start like a function, and then it's like it encapsulates everything you want to like code specifically. Then you have the JSX is like the language used in React, and props is what you pass through something when you are I want to see if we have direct example here. When you are passing information through like a component, you want to pass so that people can pass numbers and things like that. So those are the basic things. Like I said, it's just an overview for you as beginner. The state, you need state most time to keep track. Look at it like a temporal memory per time when your app runs. So it helps you to store values that you can use later as your app run through. So like this is the prop, you are passing a property here, and the state help you to, like you say, old is hungry, set hungry. So all these things, that's why I said is essential. You should go through them. Now let's go back to the Expo doc, which I quickly want to take you through as well. Some basic things: navigation, user interface, then development, build. All these things are essential for you to know. Like I said, if you already know all these things, skip it. But if you are just getting started, you want to build your first Solana mobile, then you don't know anything about even mobile development, I believe this course will be indeed helpful for you, and that's why I try my best to cover the basic you need to get started. Don't worry, we are in AI age. You can start prompting your way to build amazing things within short time, but that is only possible when you follow and understand the basic, and that is the focus of what I'm doing for you in this course. So if you will look at this covers the structure of the project, so that takes us to like the overview of the project. And when you look at this, talks about app, and this is the app folder, and this contains the app navigation, which is file based. The file structure of the app directory determines the app navigation. So if you have developed in Next.js before React Next.js, or follow any of my previous courses on web, Solana Mobile web development, you are already familiar with app, which is like your route, and the route is the pages you actually visit on your site. Like if you go to, we built this together, like this now /about decks and things like that, you understand? So as you visit this, each of these now maybe about, skill, decks, swap, and things like that / all those things, each of it is represented here. But for app, it's a bit different. Though they are in app, you have your layout, then this layout controls the overall, where you can put something like, if you want this header and footer, you understand, in your app. For example, let me use more of emulator like this. Now you want it to be, you see that even when I scroll to this view screen, you can, this particular tab navigation at the top, which we call like header on web, is still consistently and persistent there. So all those are part of what you undo using that. So you have under your layout that you can have, you see it now, so stack and screen. Then each of these, instead of each page like this, is called screen on your mobile development. Let's see, like I said, so you understand, you can see it now. So each of these is a screen. So if you want to have 3, 4, 5 screens, you can add them here. But for this now, this dApp has just 2 screens. One is called home and the other one is called blank. Maybe by the time you learn, you can get some things into this blank. So those are very essential for you. Then we have grouping. This tab grouping is another way to, if you want to have some screen and group them together like this. Now you have explore and index for each of these. This index now is what we have here as the home. You can see it. So if you are on web, normally if you just, let me go back here, you just put this maybe /tab as a folder, just ordinary tab. This will be like your site /tabs/explore. But for you not to put this tab, then you put it in bracket, then it will be ignored and just go to /explore/index/swap/ whatever you are putting on. So that's why this is very helpful to group, and it usually also have its own layout, but that layout is a subset of this. This controls anything inside there, including this. So those are essential things you want to have. Then you have assets, which your asset is where you can keep like fonts, if you have special fonts, and other things like images, static folders like images and things like that. So then you have components which help you to have specific features. You look at these components now for UI. So for specific features, you can have them here. You can see the UI now, and then different features and functions, then you can take them and use them inside your screen. So if you look at this now, this index, I need to zoom it down. If you look at this index now, it's on this header background, and if we come back and then it says welcome and step 1 try and things like that. So it's a similar something to here. So when we came and so we'll still run the Solana something, but I'm just trying my best to make sure I take yours up to speed, because as we want more people to build web mobile app in Web3 like Solana, you need to understand the basic, because 85% of it is based on understanding and knowing all these things. So when you understand it, then you can integrate Solana and any other ones. So now those are the essential here. The next one you have is, you can have other ones like constant if you want to declare color, like hooks for things you can as well reuse. You can have scripts, you can have utils, and a lot more like that. So all those ones are not always there. The essential other one that always you see is git ignore, which usually this is what you don't want to commit to GitHub. And then when you are running some script on mobile for your emulator and device and building, you want it to be ignored. You will see most of them are here. So then you have the app JSON. This is also very essential because it helps you to, take say content configuration option for the project, and it's called the app config. This option change the behavior of your project while developing, building, submitting, and updating your app. So when you look at it, it has a lot of configuration, like the name of your app, like the slug, which is like your URL, then the version and all those things, portrait orientation, if it is portrait or landscape goes like this portrait, this landscape, and the base asset for the icon, the interface and things like that. Then you have things option for Android. Like now, look at this edge-to-edge enabled. True. Most now, the edge-to-edge, most of these devices now, let's say this emulator, they have edge-to-edge. These are like old display. So their edge is like the display doesn't have like normal edge, it's just flow. That's why they call it the edge-to-edge. So most Android build now, they want you to have this enabled. So that's why you see this. Then you have your for web as well, because one thing about React Native is that while it build focus on mobile, it also helps you build a version that you can view on web as well. So then you have some other things like plugin for React router, like for your splash screen, and a lot of things. All these in future courses we'll still handle, maybe when we are building a full dApp, Solana dApp, and maybe trying to get it on into Solana dApp store. So if you want to have that, what will you like us to build? Suggest them in the comment below, and don't forget to join the email list if you want updates weekly on courses I'm working on, and suggestion of those ones you want me to work on, including if I spot jobs for Web3 developer, mobile opportunity, and more like that in the email list as well. So now don't forget to like and share the video. The more likes and interaction on the video, the more it will help to get support for creating this. And these are free and it's not easy getting it done. So please, then we have this experiment type as well. So we have the is lint normally to lint your code. Then we have the package JSON. As usual, this always contain every dependency that your project need to work. So how those dependency, like if you have your index now, there are things you imported. You understand that some of them are components here, but inside the component, most of them also depend on some things that you may need to, import. Most of this, when you are dealing with like React, like you can see this now, Expo Haptics. So these depend on this specific dependency, and you need to have it when you are installing. You see it now, Haptic, Expo Haptic. Yeah, so you see it. If, for example, you don't have this in your package.json, and then you try to run this project, it will not run, it will break, because even your IDE will underline this, that I couldn't find this particular module. You understand? So those are why it is so essential for you, and everything you need will be here. So from here you can know what are the dependencies a project actually need. So we'll see for those Solana dApp when we get the repo as well. So the next one here is, these ones are like auto-generated, so you might not worry about them based on the packages you are using. We use PNPM, so if you use NPM or Yarn, you will also see some generated something which you don't need to edit manually. They always update based on normally your normal readme. And TypeScript, because we are also using TypeScript, so to ensure whatever we are doing, it's typed, and pure JS you can easily, it's free for all. Like you can write code anyhow you want. So it make it easy for you to fall into bugs, issues, and things like that. And when you are now building with Web3 in mind, most time you will be dealing with tokens, fund, and things like that. Any little bug may lead to your user fund being lost. So you don't want to joke with that. That's why we also deal with TypeScript. It helps us to ensure we follow some strict rules and not just write any JavaScript code as we like and then open a lot of bug into our dApp. So those are the essential things. I think you can see them here. Metadata dependent type we use for safety throughout the project. So all this, and you will see this default project feature template has the following feature. You see file-based routing, like the app has two screens, the tab and the explore. Then Android iOS web support. So that's what I told you, that React Native with Expo as well support Android, iOS, and also give you web option. They have the images, the custom font that was included, and light and dark template. So usually this one thing I've noticed about most of this mobile build is that they deal with except you expressly state it in your app, they usually pick the default theme of the device. Maybe it's light theme or dark theme on your mobile. This is an emulator, so the emulator is currently on. If I go here now, and I think if I draw it, is it here? Draw it down, and then your Android, as usual, if you locate something like settings and display, you see dark theme. If I pick dark theme here and I go back, do you see that immediately so those are part of the things you need to understand when you are building so most times it defaults to that theme that the user is using on their mobile device. So if I go back, I need to go back again and turn it to light. Then once I come back into the app, app, you can see it that is back to light theme. So you keep all those essential things, and it uses animation with parallax, scroll, and things like that. So those are, so the next step now is you start learning. You can reset your project as well. So if you run this and then tools for development, which are the things we have learned about setting up. But when you are talking about Expo, there are some other things which I also discussed, like Expo CLI, which has a lot of all these things you can run with. Then EAS CLI. Most time now you don't really need to put the Expo CLI. You can just, because launch with this the specific tag and then command. But usually you will need this EAS, and we'll do all those things together step by step. So I just want to, show and say you should go through some of these things. So let's look at navigation. What is navigation like? We have seen it there. That is file-based navigation from this now. So I think it's time now for us to as well install the dependency and run that app. Then from there we explain better, so it doesn't look theoretical alone, but at least having this as also a, but let's run this actual app itself, so then we can learn some more things from there. So when you look at this now, well, we want to look at install. Let's go to terminal, open terminal, and whatever package you use, it has already installed. That's why you have Node.js. But for you to confirm that it's installed, npm install, yarn install, npm install. So this one uses shortcut like I hope pnpm. So it does the same like install, and then it tried to look to ensure that everything is installed. So if you are using pnpm, it might say there are some build. Please always remember to approve those build, because they may affect your building later. So you see this now, when it brings at many of them that is bring like UNRS resolver, you click your space to select it, and down arrow if there are more, then you click space to select them also. Once you select everything, click enter. It will ask you, click Y for yes, and that's it. If we run the same thing again, it will tell us there's no package. Then we can run the pnpmi again to ensure everything is up to date. Now we are set to start building. I love to leave that and open another new terminal. You click here instead. So this new terminal now, this is where you want to start your project. So for you to start that, pnpm expo start. So all this you can follow the guides here, so which will be like npm or npx, so on yarn or bonks or whatever you are using. So let's start the project. So before you do that, ensure the emulator is on and you have connected your Android device. So for us, let's see here. Now I told you, you go to here, go to more and go to virtual device manager, then on any device emulator, set as many as possible that you want. But I always advise you, especially when you don't have so much memory RAM, that's what I mean, please, in your PC, don't run too much of this emulator at the same time. Most time max of like 2, you just need 1, because if not, you will just discover that your system starts hanging because it consumes a lot of RAM. So I'm running this more already. You just play and then you have it running, and you can close this and minimize this one. So then you have your emulator like this. So it will usually just open up to something like this. So what you want to do now is, once you now click start, it will try to go and start the emulator. Maybe I should put the emulator on this side. Yeah. So let's start now. So I'm having other ones running, so if you say deport, you can yes. So what will happen is that a lot of things will go on here. You can see it. It quickly set this up and says you can scan this on your mobile. But usually what I've experienced is that if you connect your Android, it will usually take precedence, like it will launch on it before the emulator. So the first thing I used to encourage as a beginner is don't connect your Android first. Use your emulator, make sure it's working. You should be able to, you'll be able to launch the app first here before. And now it's using Expo Go. So what is Expo Go and those things? Let's quickly talk about it. So load, we have two options majorly. I call it two options when you are building the app, mobile application. So we are just neutral on that now. So we are building mobile application and you are using Expo. You have two ways. We have the Expo Go app, which I've discussed about before, is a sandbox. It has its own application. You can go on App Store and search for it, and this is the app called Expo Go, and install it on your Android. So when you have it on your Android phone already and also install it, you have your Play Store. You can always click and search. You can see it now. If I go here and search Expo Go, you see it, Expo Go, React Native. So you see it now. So you can see details from the original source from. So you see it now. It said I can update it. So update from Play Store. You can see it now. So because if you don't have it, it also will, Expo Go will try to install it for you on your app. Then it will. So this, your emulator is just like your normal device. Just some differences I've noticed that some things can be bigger on it than they will actually be on your device. So before you make changes, make sure you also test on your actual device. So that will on, and you have some option here. Once you want it to load on the Android, you click here and put A, then it will load it for you. So advantage of this is that it makes it easier for you to quickly, test what you are building and things like that. But the disadvantage I've told you is that this Expo Go is like a sandbox. It already has some pre-installed apps, dependencies and packages in it. If you don't have, if the what you are using, you are building, you use some dependency that are not supported inside it, then it will not work. So, and one of it is the Solana Mobile Mobile Wallet Adapter. It's not part, and it's not just Solana. A lot of even Web2 dependencies and packages are not yet supported. So those are part of the limitation. That's why which we will still get back to. If you go inside this, it will tell you when you are building, you should use the build, not the you should use the build, not the Expo Go. So we are not going to use Expo Go, but don't forget we are learning first as a beginner, because you need to understand all these things so that as you build, because in future you might also support it. So, and this make your app building very easy. So here we go now, you can see it, and then you can have this. Well, always say you should log in if you want to be tracking what you have. So you can sign up. I think if you have signed up Expo account, you need an Expo account, which you still need to do, or you just do it in case I forget. Just go to expo.dev and then you get an account, because you will need that account for EAS and other things like that. So just get that. And back here now, let's see if we have our emulator ready. And let me go here, then click A, which launch the Android. You see it? Yes. Can you see the issue now is saying uninstalling Expo Go from Android device mode, downloading the Expo Go. So at times the version creates a lot of conflict. You understand? There. So usually I just want to use the one from here, because you see it now that it's now trying to uninstall it again and then try to install it again. So we need to let that done before we can even make use of it. Now it's almost done, you see. Then it's now installing. So usually, even if you don't have it, you see it reinstall and then it try to open it, because it will want to load your app. You see it, first mobile app. So good, we now have the app loading on a device. So it's the same like if you connect your Android, but like I said, let the emulator run first. Let it be configured, especially as beginner for the first time. Then once you have it working, cool. So we have on mobile, and you can see the SDK version is using runtime. So you see this now. You explore. Those are the two screens we have. Remember this, anyone you now place here become a screen. So this is explore and this is index. The index is actually the home screen. If you see it, home screen, and this is the explore tab 2 screen. So this is the second tab and this is the first one. So we have it running now, and now you have your first app. You run it on an emulator. At this point now, you can as well connect, because we have set up the devices, your phone and everything. You can now try to connect your phone and click the A again. Each time you click that A, it tries to launch on the connected Android, and by the time it discovers that there's actual Android device, it will launch on it, install, do the same thing, and then launch your app. And as you build, if you want to refresh, as you make any changes here, it should reflect in real time. Like look at welcome to DPU, the Program University. You see it now. So it should be on real time, and the same for your connected physical Android device. And in case anything not showing, or you just install some packages and things, you can click R and then you refresh. You see it will load the whole thing and then show. And remember, you can scan this as well. Once you have the Expo Go app on your Android phone, if you're on iOS as well, you can use your camera to scan, and then it will install it and you can use it to see it work on both devices, and then it's refreshing and start running. So everything, anything we adjust here, we can see it right here. So that's the first option for you to launch your mobile app to test, to use it on a device through Expo Go. But we also said a lot of projects out there, including a Solana mobile stack, is not currently supported inside the Expo Go. So how do you now go about it? Using the build. So if we go into here, look at running the app. You see inside the Expo Go, we have running the app. You can see that the Expo development flow is only limited to certain and peak modules and not support further customized native code. So like I've showed it to you. So instead we need to use custom development. So it will tell us now if we are going through, and now you will go through the custom development, which we have here when we are picking setting up environment. If you remember that I told you that development build are what we will need. So that means instead of using our app, instead of opening our app through Expo Go, we'll open it directly on its own. It will be installed directly instead of being opened through Expo Go. So we'll do that together as well. I just want you to take note of that. So that's the second option. And if I move this up, you will notice we are using Expo Go. So for us to switch to development, we can just press S and it will change this. If I press S, you see it now, that's now using development build. You see it now, just all the instructions are there. And if you want it back to Expo Go, you press the X again, it goes to Expo Go. So now actually if we want to run the development build, how we do that is we have two options in that. You can use your local system or you use the remote using the EAS. So let's quickly do that because I want to try my best to cover as many basic things you need to understand. These are things that give me headache, when I just like, okay, Solana Mobile dApp, let's see, I discovered that 75-85% of these things are not actual. I need to go back and learn those things, and that's why I'm trying my best as beginner. And you can always keep, for those of you that always about sharp, and eventually you just make a lot of mistake because you are used to, you don't know the difference between actually learning as developer and entertainment. It's everything you just want. Development, people that are solid in development don't. If you cut corners, you also meet yourself at the end of the road. So this is not entertainment, this actual solid building. So you need to learn. It's painful, it's slow, but that is part of what I teach students here in the programming. You need to like that painful initial learning process when you are learning, especially new things in development. Put AI aside. First, go through the doc, then include AI to understand the doc better. Then you start building. You can now start vibe coding. You don't vibe code not having basic understanding of all these things and think you won't get stuck. You will. So don't be deceived by all those social media posts you see coming chap every time. Just AI just build it for me, and then I'm launching, and then I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions straight like that. It doesn't work that way. Many of them get stuck and end up consulting professional developers, but they won't tell you that in their video because that will not get the views. So you need to keep that in mind. So that's why it's boring, I know, but it's essential. You understand? So now the next one is the option for who want to focus on that step first. And for us to take that local, we have, like I told you, like two options. A for local, and then B will be having the option for us to use the EAS, and even each level has different options. So I'm just trying my best. These things are confusing. For me to put it together for you wasn't easy. So hope you can just follow and not be unrealistic. Like, oh, it's confusing. That's what the reality. So you just need to follow me step by step, and then you will get it. I try my best to unconfuse it. So now I think we should try to stop this. Stop the server. At least we've been able to run it already. If you are building that, we want to first pre-build the app. So that means we want to have the Android and iOS version. Then we can now install it. So by doing that, we bypass Expo Go, because when you look at this, our app now, you see that we don't have anything like and because Android Expo Go undo everything for us. But since we want to ignore Expo Go, then we have to make sure we compile our app, what we have built, to turn it to actual Android app or iOS app. And to do that, we need, let's open another tab, and then, sorry for, used to usually have flu early in the morning when recording, so you can run things in the description. I have some of this command for you as well, and if you are on the email list as well, you may request, or I will add the link to the full doc if it's not in the description for you. So you want to run PM Expo pre-build. So all these are in the doc. If you follow these docs, they are there. So that's why it's so essential you do that. But let's go and open and paste. I want to show you something. If I use PM Expo pre-build, is this Expo pre-build that matter now? You will see what it will do. It will want to tell me to set up. You remember these things now are so important, you see, when you are building. But it actually works for the latest version, but most time when you use just PM build, it will ask you to manually set these things yourself. So you can set, you see, .com for scale first by app, or you can set them if it's a live app. Then it will generate, and you can see these two files now, which is iOS and Android. They were not there before. So now if we open it, it's like you have your app and a lot of things like that, and your things that can be compiled to run on both. So if you have your iOS, Mac, for example, your Xcode and things like that, and your emulator set as well, you can run your app the same, just like we run here now. So once we have that, the next thing we want to run is to be able to run it, put those things built together, and which we can run with like PM Expo run Android. So if you are running it on iOS, you want to do iOS, maybe you're on Mac now, and then you have your simulator set up like this emulator, then you can just, let's go back because we have off the server, so just loading. So here now I'm running Android, so you click enter, and then what this will do, yes, is that you see it will build the app. For the first time that you do this, it takes a lot of time depending on your internet, your RAM, and a lot of things, because all these things use your system capacity. Like, so it shows, you can see it now configuring. This can take up to 30 minutes at times when you are running it for the first time, depending on a lot of things. So you just need to keep calm. Sure, I won't, if it's taking that, I will not. I will also come back to it in the video with the power of editing, but it usually takes a lot of time for first time setup, and after that it will be a bit faster. For each new app you build, it will take a bit of time. So you can see this is even much faster now, and it will set up, try to compile those things and run it. So what it will do is that it will install that app. You know, our app is first app. There's nothing like first app. The only one we have here is files. So when it installs, you will see it here. Because don't forget now, we are not accessing the app through Expo Go. So each of these you see are tests I was doing. They have to install on their own. They are standalone app, just your normal, and so they are not coming through Expo Go. If you are running Expo Go, it's running through the sandbox, so you won't see those apps installed individually. So those are the differences when you hear development build with React Native and Expo Go, and that will be essential for us later building on Solana. So mobile, let's pick here. So this will take a while, like I said, and then we will see it here. You see some of them being installed here. So what other things I can be doing while this is ongoing? So this will be installed, and can we just try play around with the emulator? So I think I was talking about navigation. So you want to go through some of these things. So what React Router is, which will be all these things, you will learn a lot from this. The layout, I've explained most of them, but I want you to start Navigator. Next one, talk about the user interface. What are those essential user interface, like splash screen? Then you also have something like save areas. So these are, if you are building, like you see this now, everything that is running, you see they run below this. All these are default that come across your phone, iOS, Android. So make it easier for you to access all these features. So when you are building, there are these areas that those things are not across safe areas. So you want to make sure your app display within those safe areas, and to do that is so a bit difficult. So, but thanks, we have this package that makes it much easier. If you check the package JSON, let's take this a bit. We have this package called React Native Safe Area Contest. So usually come pre-installed if you are using the default to kickstart your project. So these are what you can wrap your project around, and then each of your screen around, and it ensures that these things are respected and your content only stay within the safe area. So you can imagine when you are launching this, so as you are running this now, you can imagine all those names going to overlay with this title. It will not be okay. So all those things are essential things as well. You need to, I told you this thing takes a lot of time. Initially, it's already spent like 5 minutes. So those things are so important. So you learn about the system bar, like you can see when you create a content like this and the content is overflowing on it, it's not a good experience. So you want to instead have something like this, both on Android and iOS. So these are the things you learn about: font, sidebar, and then development build as well. So this give you essential differences, like I've explained it. What's development build? And that's what we are working on now. The difference between Expo Go and development build and some things like that. You see it, how to convert Expo Go. So we are doing this now. Let's see. So it still will take some time. Let's use the time for. So those are the things you try to learn through. Please, like I said, take your time to go through these documentations. Don't say AI is there. I know AI is there, but if you don't know this basic, I'm telling you, you will create a very big hole in your, and you will only be limited to people you watch on YouTube or courses you buy or free on the programming and things like that, because you don't really know what it takes to actually build. If you open a blank something like this, can you start building something without having a full build template? That is what actually lets you realize you actually knows what you are doing and building as a pro, gradually becoming a pro with that. So you see that's now opening the app. I will show it to you. It's installing the Android, and then it wants to run it. Good. But if we go back here, you see that it's not using Expo Go. And then if we go here and scroll, you see we now have this first mobile. And when I click it, launch it. If I close this, let me close this now, come back, open and launch it, first mobile. You can see it now, that as you are launching is also, and also if you just click A, it will launch it for you. So if you have connected it, even once it has, make sure it's installed. If it's not installed, if you click A, it will tell you it doesn't have the SDK. So if I click the Android again, it will go and prompt it out, and then we can start adjusting like we did then, just the same way. Index, and then try it. Let's say step 1, try it now, and then you save. You should immediately see it here. So good, we have now been able to also use the build. The local build also without EAS now also have the second option. Okay, like you can as well run it on your Android as well. But then you can also build locally even with EAS. So, but we want to also quickly touch on EAS, because later on we start building with more with Solana and all those things. I won't be coming back to this, so I will always refer most of you as beginner, but that's how I'm taking the time to help you understand the basic of React Native, Expo, Go running, build and development build and all those things. So we want to run with EAS now. So let's quickly learn about that as well. So which is the first step you will need is to go to expo.dev. So, and this, I already have an account. You register an account there, you can see it. And I think if you go to usage, it shows you how you are using it, and you have a monthly build limit. I think maybe 15, or if you go to pricing or something like that. So that's why you cannot just be building and building directly in remote. So that's why it's so essential if you truly want to be a pro mobile developer and then into Solana development, mobile development, to have your actual, maybe your Mac or Linux or Windows, have your development environment set up so you can build in the cloud. And that's just easy. Let's go back here, and we can also stop this as well. So, and let's open another tab. So hope you are getting that. Let me know as well if you got questions in the comment. Now, if we go to the EAS now, the first step, like I told you, is for you to open account. Then we need to install the EAS CLI, which first you can install it, and I encourage you to install it with this flag globally. So that means you don't need to be installing every time you want to use it for each app. So you just use it directly. So if you don't have it, run this, it will install it for you. I already have it, so I won't be running it because I already have it. And once you install it, for you to confirm, just do EAS version. Then it tells you, you can see, then give other info, your Node.js and things like that. So, and you will be able to, the next thing you want to do now is to log in. So each project, everything, you don't need to, once you log in once, except to log out. So now you can do is login. You see it now. So you can have multiple accounts here. So you say, do you want to continue? No, I don't want to continue. I've already logged in, but you follow, put in your, it will be your username for this expo.dev platform and your password. Just put it. I've already logged in, so I will say no. And for once you log in, for you to confirm, you can also do EAS who am I, no space, and then it will tell you and list as many Expo accounts, that Expo development account that you have. So I just have one listed in here, and that's the first key. So once you have that, that's general. For you need to set it up and it's global. Then in any project like we have, so based on the project, whatever project you are building, that's the same thing you will follow. And all these things are already there in the doc, link in the description for documentation. So you don't need to keep them on your head. That's why you can't joke. And also things like that, you have your AI, but be careful to ensure you have up to date commands, because a lot of things like this change. So, and the AI might not be up to date, except you are sure the AI you have is plugged in maybe to the document life and things like that, documentation life. So if the essential thing you remember, that you should have installed your package and have your package installed. Once you have it, you want to now run this command EAS build the flag profile, so like development, and then you want to pull in the platform. I want for Android. And now if you run this, it will believe you want to use, you know you have logged in and you even need to log in, it will go and run remotely. So I'm not running remotely, I want to run it locally, so it doesn't count towards my usage. That remotely, I feel, is essential when you are actually trying to build, because if you use their premium plan, for example, you can use it to launch on Apple App Store, on Android Play Store and other store, and then do push notification and a lot of things like that. But we are not focusing on that yet, maybe in future. So now, of course, this you build, remember to put the flag. It's so essential to put the flag local. If you forget to put, it will build and use your remote. So this one tells you that just use my system development setup, and then it won't count towards yours. So let's try this. So you see it said I don't have the Expo Div client installed in the project, because you know we got this default project, it doesn't seems to have it. So do you want to, if you proceed, you might not get the build you want to build development client before platform Android, that you don't have Expo Div client installed. To install Expo Div client, manually see this. So I think this way, let's proceed first. Yes, project 4. Yes, so this, anything, all this mobile build and things takes a lot of time as well. So generate new key here, and then after that it will build for us. So it's just similar to what we did then, but this time around it will just generate the first option we used without EAS was to compile these files, and then we use the run build to load it on our app, but not through Expo Go. But this now instead, it generates actual APK that we can take and install just like your normal Android or for iOS, and then or you can also share it to others as well. Yeah, we can see it now that the build took about 11 minutes, almost 11 and a half minutes, and then cool, we got it successful, and you see it said build successful. You can find your build artifact in, so it will give you link, but if you just scroll, let's expand this a bit because the name used to be a bit weird like that. So you can see we have a build here .apk instead of the files like Android or iOS and a lot of things that you now need to run build again to put it together to run. This already run your normal APK or what for the iOS as well, that you can just take and just like any other app and put inside your emulator and things like that. So for you to run that, this is what you will see. This will stop here, but for you to now use it like in your emulator now, if or inside your iOS, if you are there, we can I want to close this app. Let's go back and drag and drop this. If we drag this now, drop it inside the emulator, you will see it. You see that it's installing, and you see failed, install failed, incompatible, existing package, Foscape first mobile app signature do not match newer version, ignoring. So because we didn't change the name and things for the build, it tried to use this existing one. That's how update on app work, this first mobile. And because the signature is not the same, then there's an issue with it. So we need to, what I would do is, if I tap here, app info, I want to uninstall that. We have learned that already, so let's uninstall it, and then we don't have anything like that again. Let's go back to home, and if I scroll far, we don't have it. We can try again to drag and drop it into the emulator. Then by now, if nothing is wrong with the emulator, it should install. You see it now, that installed. And if I scroll again, you can see it. We now have it here. So you can just tap it to run, because it's now a standalone app. It doesn't even connect with our development server at all now. So how do you now build and get to see those things? It said uninstall, rebuild and restart, which reset if you are using. So it said the build has an error. The build and restart. So it has some instruction here we can follow to get the app, but the major thing I want to do is just to have an idea of this, because that is what we are going to use when we are building with Solana Mobile. Most often after some testing, I've seen that using this method of these files together, iOS can bring in a lot of issues. So I usually use the build development with EAS, but local, that generates this APK. So it just give you an idea, you know how it works now. And if we want to run this as well, we can then do something like to start the server together, so that we can have the build. So for you to connect with live server with this, so that as you change your code, it will also show, you need to start, which will be based on the package you use, pnpx expo start. Then we run the dev client, and then it will try to start the server. Yes, I see it now because we got error in the initial build as well. So use port instead. So because we got error with the build, so that means you need to follow that instruction there to do a cleanup and rebuild this. But like I said, I just took the time to give you an idea of all these things we're actually now going to do. So don't worry, this same thing we will do it in the Solana Mobile dApp. So if any issue come up there, then we can try to fix it together. So for now, I don't want to stay keep more time already on this. I've covered a lot outside of just the Solana development now that we need, and you will see that these same things we need them. So let's put this project in one side, and then I want to go back to Solana doc, and here we are. We want to have the quick native with project Expo. So like he said, we have a starter template that we can use. So this actually now we are turning the mobile app into Solana dApp. So now we've learned, we see it now that we cannot build Solana Mobile without actually having thorough the normal Web2 stack understanding of React Native Expo and all those things. Build, Expo Go, development, build, and more. So which we have learned a lot. We've run our app. We got an issue with the other one running the EAS build, but we use the same. And if we have issue with here, we say so. Let's go on to Expo starter template. So usually they say we should use Nyan here and create this Expo app template. So you can follow that as well to do. But I've seen that the GitHub is actually up to date than the package template. So because I notice when you go to package JSON, I don't know when you'll be checking, this package JSON uses 52 Expo SDK 0.52, but the template itself use 50. So it's more old. So that's why I want to use this. So you want to go, all the link will be in the description as well. You want to go to the official Solana Mobile Expo template, and purely like you have seen it from here, sorry, if you have clicked here, then it takes you to here. So I want you can fork this, and as well remember to give it a star. You know, when you use things that at least appreciate developer giving energy and time behind it, so remember to give it a star. Then you should fork this. I think I have a fork of it already, and that's what I will be using. So just make sure your fork is up to date with the actual one, and if you want to also contribute, you can go through your fork. So this is up to date with the official one. So since that, I need to clone this So why using this is that in case I do some update adjustment, I can push to my own repo and have a backup of it there. So I can't push to this except I want to actually contribute to the overall template. Here we have this now, and then I want to go here. So I want to open the terminal to clone it, just whatever folder you want to clone it into, and let's paste git clone, then the GitHub repo you've cloned. So we are cloning this now. I want to copy the name to CD into it later. So you have the up to date from there. So this might change, so maybe you try, but that's my own experience as of now that I'm recording this course. So I want to CD into that folder, and you can see it has created this Solana Mobile Expo template. Then we tap it in here. Let me open with cursor, and there we have it here. So I won't be going through all those basic again because it's just the same thing. You see, this I told you is like from the old build, but now they are updating it. So that's why you see SRC, but you can begin to see familiar things we saw from our normal Expo default, like component, navigation, screen. You know, they explicitly say screen, and they put everything inside source. So, but all this now, you know, we have the app, and the app is separate from component. So those are some of the structural differences compared to the previous build one. So, I need to, sorry, I don't think you are seeing what I was showing earlier. Yeah, so this is what I was saying, that it's just the same. The SRC for your Solana, if you are using building like or using the Solana template, for example, you see this here now, the source, just like the app, but this like the old way of doing this thing. So, but that's what we do together for now. And then in future course for mobile development, we now start building, and then probably I would have restructured to follow the new Expo structure and things like that. So I've tried some of it, was getting error with the wallet. So, but I think I will fix some of these things later. This takes a lot of time. That's why, please, if you like what I'm doing, consider donating using the donation link below. Like, share this video. Reaching more people also help to increase chances of getting support and partnership to keep bringing this for you. So please consider donating and join the email list as well. So if we look at here, the component as usual contain a lot of things. Then the ET. So we'll still try to, okay, let's just go. We have the component, this account. Well, let me launch it first then, so that I can show you what is going on with it. So once we have that cloned, then we want to run the package so that we have the package running for us. But if we go here, they explicitly said it that there could be error. These are not going issue when using npm install to install the Expo template to mitigate, clean your project dependency and reinstall with yarn. So since the template is saying we should use yarn, so I'd better keep my npm for now so that we don't have headache. You understand? So to reduce the chances of stress and headache with it. So once you have this on, the next thing you want to open terminal and go to new terminal, and then we want to install so that I can install all these packages that we have inside here. See them here. So let's run them. Yarn install. So that we reduce the friction and the chances of things breaking. So let's use the package they recommend. So here we got it now. This has been installed. I always like to double check. I run it again and then it tells me already resolved, everything is installed. So once we have our package installed, then the next thing we will now do is to build. So like I said, remember, we can use Expo Go, not because we can't use it, but because it's useless for us, because the build, we have a lot of connection, which I will still show you inside this component, utils and things like that, like wallet, using the Solana Mobile Wallet Adapter and all those things. So all these things will not work with Expo Go. So we need to use the normal development build. So if you skip the previous section, then it's your choice. You have to go back to it. That's why I told you, especially as beginner, don't skip anything. Watch it through before you start jumping to decide what to skip. So I will not go back to explain it. I will just use it. Now, if we look at this, so local versus EAS build, don't be confused. I've explained it earlier. The local is just you are building, you are compiling, all those things. But even the local, you still can use EAS for it, and that's what we are using. But this talk more about building it without being local. That's remotely, you see. But when you are building it locally, you need to put that local flag. I explained it earlier. Or else, you need to add that local. So let's go back. I just do a type of kind of refresh there. If we go here, then the instructions are there as well. So we need to build that, and remember, for us to build, we need to use this. Select the local under Expo, link in the description as well. Then ensure the development profile has development client field set to true. So since we are already using their template here, all those have been set for us. You can see it. So we still try to quickly go through, but let's run. I want this thing to run because at times it could take some time. So once you install, I love to use another tab so I see things clearly. Now this one, now we want to run this same command. So just usually once you have EAS, you don't need the npx or something, so we can just run EAS, and let's see. So here we have, let me paste if I have. So the normal EAS build, profile development platform, Android. Remember, this is so important, or else it will go and build it remotely. So which also counts towards your monthly limit, especially if you're on free plan. So here now, let's click enter. So existing EAS found by this, configure this project, yes. So while that is setting up as well, I'll be using it to explain some of these things for you. So you look at the component normally, and we have account, which deals with account. You know, when you look at the initial emulator that I showed you, from the emulator, you see it. We got this that display, retrieve the connected wallet account and display them and things like that. So all those are handled inside here. Then you have cluster. This one handle things like this that shows like Devnet, mainnet. Then you have the sign in feature. That's handle when you first land, if you disconnect or reconnect, how you are able to handle the sign in. And I think I need to reduce the size so you see it a bit. Yeah, so you can see this handles the connection and the sign in. So then we got the top bar, that's this, that makes things persistent across, and the UI app model. So also the navigator as well. Then here we have the screen, which is actually, this is the this blank screen, and the home screen is the actual home that you see here. So then this index.js imports both of them. So you can begin to see some differences the way this was structured from the new Expo template. So but at least we want to stick with what they have there. So then settings screen. So this is when you click here, because each page, this is a screen of its own, so that displays all this. So that will come back to it. Another important aspect, has this finished? It's still on. So another important aspect of this is these utils. It contains a lot. The alert log is what helps to give alerts of like notification. So, but most importantly, all these use mobile wallet. So this use mobile wallet is actually what helps us connect with the Solana Mobile Wallet Adapter. And as you can see it inside here, you can see the code. You see it. And that Solana Wallet Adapter, there's the Solana Wallet, Solana Mobile, please. Mobile Wallet, not normal. Solana Wallet Adapter is for web. Solana Mobile Wallet Adapter has its own, normally, you see, Mobile Wallet Adapter Protocol. But there's also Mobile Wallet Adapter Protocol Web3.js, which is a wrapper. And officially, I think they recommend you take your transaction from the Web3.js, because that has a lot more feature, because it takes all the feature in Web3.js and try to wrap it together around this mobile wallet adapter. So I think you should use the transact, which handle the transaction bit, that mobile adapter and things like that, from Web3.js instead of using it directly from here. So that's what you have. All the code is there. Once you fork, you see it, and you see signing message, all those things you can go through. And that's where your AI come into play. If you don't understand anything, just copy the code and say the AI to explain it for you. That's how you learn better. Then you have this use authorization, majorly is for this React Native Async storage. So what this does is that you can imagine now, even if I close this app and I open it back, the fact that I've connected my wallet stays there, except I click and log out or disconnect. So user don't want to, each time they close your app and go elsewhere, or close it entirely and come back, then they want it logged in. You understand what I'm saying? It's better you do security that when your app is open, maybe they need to unlock it with password or biometrics and things like that. Then each time your dApp is being opened, they will always have to connect with wallet. That will be stressful for users. So that is what async storage, it helps to keep that persistency of whatever has been signed securely, and then keep it in the dApp, so that even if I come here now and we close this app, it will still run for us again. So that's what this is about, and normally working with this to ensure everything work together. And so also your connection provider, where you have your cluster and a lot of things set for us. So those are the essential things that we are working on. You see that this usually take time. So if you are doing it, you should keep that in mind. It takes a lot of time to build that. I think the previous one for the normal app took us about 11 minutes plus. So let's see. Good. This is done. Can I get the minutes used? It's not actually showing me. Okay, yeah. The build, you want to look for this build successful. It took about 6 minutes, 6 seconds for it to be successful, and we have used that time to go through some of this code. So then another important thing you always see in the doc as well is the polyfill. You need to have the polyfill set. If you don't have the polyfill set, polyfill is just like code that makes things more compatible, maybe with new sets or backward compatibility. So it's so important for crypto projects to use this polyfill. And then also this Expo get random value from this Expo crypto. So crypto deals with a lot of cryptographics. You don't need to know all these things, but you need to know that they are needed. So because you should not be bothered with them, that's why Expo itself has this official Expo crypto package. So you have the polyfill, and you need to import it into your, I think the app index, in your app.txx. So you will see this app or this app.txx now. All those things has changed in the previous in the new things now. When you look at all this now, you don't have that because you now have app and then layout, and so that your app does something serve like your app/_layout that guide all those things you do with this. So that's why we have to make sure we import it. So if we are building in the other one, we import it inside the layout. So we have this now, and the normal other thing for your layout, theme, dark theme, light theme, and all those things, and how your app will appear. So then your normal Babel config, which Babel preset, Expo, and things like that. Then the EAS JSON. So let me bring this down a bit. JSON, this is so important to be true because we are building for development, not preview among for some internal check, but at least, and then production. This one will be in use when we are building production. So I hope in future I'll be building production base that we can have on Solana dApp store. So what would you like me to build? Let's know in the comment, and don't forget to like more view on this. 100 likes, then in future I'll spend more time for us to build more production base. For now, you need to learn before you jump, because some people, they just I want to build to production when you don't even know to build in development. So that's then we have the metro configuration as well there. Then the package You know, all these are like auto-generated. This is the package JSON. You can see all these things are there for us. So if you see that we are not using the other build which compile iOS, Android here, so we want to follow what they recommend based on those that built it and have tested the template. So those are the major thing. Then the text, this and this yarn lock are to generated with the yarn something we did. So let's now go back here and see this in 6 minutes. So it said that's built for us, and through we can see it here .apk. So we need to, you know, move this into our emulator. You can see it now. So I think this is carrying the same name. We'll see. Let's try and install it. Let's see. So if we have any app there already, it will tell. Solana Mobile Expo. So it's installed, and now I'm confused which one is is the actual one. So for us to, let's use the development server to run it. So the next thing you want to run following the guide is this, to run Expo Start div client. So that I've explained to you previously, that what this does is that if you know this is an APK, you have installed it, even if it's run. But the issue there is that if you want to now start developing and making changes or adjusting, you cannot, even if you are doing it, it doesn't connect with that. So you need to connect it with it. So, and how you do that is running that. And since you have set up your environment, everything is connected. You watch previous section, the timestamp is there to learn more about React Native and all those things. So npm px expo start div client. So it has to be div client. Let's see. Hopefully we don't get error this time, and ensure you have run your packages. So let's see. Yes. So I run the server. So this seems to have built, run, and you can see, you can, now that you have the app, so you can also install it on your phone. Like I've told you, it's easier for you to do that. All you need to do is, for example, if you want it to run in your emulator, for example, you have to have installed it. If not, it will tell you build not found. So if you are seeing that error, build not found, then that may be what you need to do. So here now the emulator is connected. First test it on the emulator. Let's see what we've got here. Let me move this. Yeah, press A, this Android. So you see, because the app is already installed, so it will locate it and try to run it. Hopefully we don't get errors. So you can see, being first time, it will take a while for it to bundling. Hopefully we don't have errors. Hopefully. Cool. We don't have errors. You can see it. It's run. I think it's run with the previous one. So what I want to do is, because I don't even easily identify the name there. Solana. Let me run each of them and see, because I want you to see this. Yeah, so this was me testing some things out. You can see, I think these are part of the error. If I try to run this now, it will say the mobile wallet adapter must be used in secure context. Do you have idea what's causing that error? Let me know in the comment. I will likely work to fix this up later. So yeah, I think I identify it now. Then if I go back, that means the second one is this second one. So if we run the second one, you see it, that's what we want. So by identifying it now, I can actually uninstall it. I want you to see how it will do for the first time. Let's uninstall it. Don't worry, we got the APK here, so we'll reinstall it. So we only have one mobile here, Solana, and that one opens to here. So good. Let's close this. And then just one. So when we install now, we have two. So let's drag and drop. Installing. And the second one is now showing. So we have this now. Then you can now see it, and I believe if we try to run it now, it should just begin from the start. I might still be connected. So good, you can see it now, and that's the package JSON tells us the expo we are running. You see it 52, that's what you saw there. So now let's go back to the home screen. Yeah, this is the home screen. Let's try and do some changes, which Solana Mobile dApp. So you can see it now. Immediately you do that. The same if you want to have this, the time you plug your phone, Android phone, also inside, and then you try to click the A again, it will run into it. Or you can try to get your, it might give error, try to get the APK, maybe send it and install it. So now this, we have it now. This is what it brings first, and that's what I was talking about, the sign in. And either of it, if you click on it, is handled by here. It is sign in. So in case you want to learn how that was done, and then you will see that inside the sign in, you will see some things. You will see some things here. Oh, I mistakenly did some typing. So now if we go here, you will see this down saying now your domain. If you want, you click on connect either here or there. You see it as your app. Then that even remind me, this is the time for you to make sure you go back, you go to store, Play Store, and search in your emulator and your phone as well for Solflare. Please make sure you are installing the actual Solana wallet. This is the wallet, so I've already installed it. Install it, then you have also like Phantom. I think those are the two for now that I still work with. Phantom wallet. You see, I've also installed it. So on each of them, if you go and open each of them, like the Phantom, for example, except maybe you set key or something. So you see it now, you will be greeted to set up account, and then I set up. What I did actually was I used Solflare I use Solflare. I set up an account, so you can use any of them. I set up an account. I think Phantom also allows you to set up an account attached to your email. So if you don't want to mess around with using key phrase and things like that, so you always make sure you keep your seed, your recovery phrase and private keys secure. Don't share with anyone. So skip for now. I don't want to. So you can see these are not real, so these are the SOL we are getting for free for development. So you can't exchange it for real money, it's just for development. So you want to go also to set it up. Once you set up account, then you can go and get airdrop from even the wallet. Is even there. The dApp we are building here help us to give so you connect your wallet. To see this, you want to go to here and settings. Then you want to go to general and network, and if I click minute, which is real money, you see zero is a zero that's there, so you want to click that. But we are using Devnet because that's where the airdrop works. You go back, you select edit, and then if you are using, but we are using Devnet, you see continue, and that's why we have that huge balance. Wow, interesting. So now we have Solflare set up. So I use the same pass key so that I don't need to reset another something. So I imported the same pass key inside it and put it inside Phantom, and that's why you see it's the same wallet, the same balance. So, and for you to also do the settings, you go here, you click here, and then active network. Is it active network? No. Developer settings, sorry. Then if I off this now and go back, you see that I got zero there as well. So all those things, like I said, not real money, just for development. You want to locate developer settings, and then so if you want and debug the inner browser web view. So if you want debugger or things like that. So but this, make sure the Solana Devnet is on. So we are ready now, and then you see the source. So have those, at least the wallet, Solflare, then this, and that is when you now run this app. On our app, you can now connect, and that's how you will see that pop up. So if you click connect and you are not seeing that pop up, it's because you don't have any Solana Mobile Wallet Adapter compatible wallet, and since you are not using official Solana phone like Sika and things like that, then you don't have access to Seed Vault. So you need something like this. So this is it now. Open with Phantom or open, which I did. Let's see the flow of both of them. So let's just once, because when I say always, then any other time it will not ask me again. So just, and that thing I discovered when I use it on phone. When I use Phantom, it still asks me if I don't. But even when I use Solflare, it's just permanent there. So usually this will go back. Let's try and connect. So at times it could be, maybe you check if there's any error log or something. So this is what I want to show you. These are the things you see, like fake domain, connecting will allow this site to view. So these are where you want to customize some things with your wallet, because these are things that will be shown to your wallet that you are connecting to. So these are how users say, okay, this app they are connecting to, and things like that. So let's click here, connect, then it comes back and save it. And that's why if I close this app now, I can reconnect and then it will still be there persistent because of this auth authorization that we used. So that's here now, and I can also disconnect. So when you are disconnecting, try as much as possible to use the same wallet so it will reduce chances of error. So we have it now. Then if I click connect again, and then I use Solflare, skip for now. So you see it now. Then I can click airdrop to get a airdrop request. Close. So you see it now. It's now 13. So and that's why if I go back to the Solflare and I have a lot of even more fake, so to celebrate with myself. You see it now. And if you check also for Solflare, so that's not updated here. So it will update as well and show that we now have about, you see it now, so we now have 13 souls. So that is how we are able to, and you can say that if we go like I've showed you earlier, because we are running this our development server, anything will change except if you install maybe new packages. Try to use reload. If it's not working, then you may need to rebuild again. So if not, then most things that you will do, just adding some React Native code and features based on that, then most of the time you will not even need to touch anything like that again. So home screen, you see mobile. So this account screen, that's the account screen. I think that's showing us for return view style screen container. So that's how we are able to build and develop our first Solana mobile dApp. And I believe you've learned a lot, and I know there's a lot to learn, to wrap your head on. That's why I said the best way to learn with all these things, because I go through this process as much as I can, learn it and try to streamline it. These things I streamline for you might look simple up after, but if you want to go out there on your own, they are complex to piece together, even with a lot of all these docs. So that's why, especially as beginner, go back from beginning. Don't skip any part. Work from A to Z. Then from there you can, okay, I'm building out this where I need this. You can see it now. So we have, can I request more? So then you can send, you see it. So you can send so to other wallet, you can receive to your wallet. So all these are what you can do with the app. Now I think that's the major aspect. So we have tested it now and it's working, and we're able to use, you've built your React Native with Expo and then turn it to a dApp. And that's why I said if it doesn't work here, when we build this, then we'll know how to fix. But cool, we got all these things working together at once. So that's it for the video. If exercise that I have for you is just put something in this blank. Yeah, this blank screen, put something, share it with me on our X, and then also link to the expos on in the comment. Don't spam the comment if it's not linked to the tweet about it, then not. So you can as well tag me on X as well. So for the programminguniversity.com/Twitter, that will redirect you to the account of Solomon Foskey as well. I think x.com/Solomon Foskey. So you can tag me so that I can reshare it as well. So this is it. You can tag me, follow, and I will share. But also let me know what you built as well in the comment and the features. And then what do you want us to build next? Join the email list so that you can, reach out as well. Because once the mail list get to a level, it's just fresh now. You should start expecting every weekly. I see Web3, Solana job, developer job update and things like that. Opportunity I share. What should we build next and a lot more. There are different tools that makes developer life easier on Solana and Web3 as a whole. I share them as well. So you want to get in, and please, if you want me to continue to do this, I do this now every week and I drop it. It's not easy. Please consider using the link to support with donation. Tap and share this video on your social media. Recommend this channel. Let more Solana developer discover and use it. So when you are doing your hacker house or things like that, you can use some of this as well to help, because I try to simplify this development as much. So, and I cover both the Solana web development and Solana mobile development. And there's a playlist for each of them, like full stack development. Check it as well on the channel page. Go to the channel page now. You see the playlist. Pick anyone, and also there will be link in the description as well. Yeah, in the description I had the playlist for the web, Solana development web, and Solana mobile development as well. So I think that is it for this build that. And if we go back, it might list that project here. You see it, that first project. So, but it didn't really count towards our usage because we built it locally. Yeah, so that's it. Build, share it with me on X as well. Tag me and I can retweet them as well. Now that we are now set, we can now start building. What app do you want to see? One that I'm thinking is maybe we should take this our Solana DEX, which we use Jupiter Swap, works fine in the previous course, and then take it and use it to turn it to mobile. You understand? So it can now be on mobile. I'm thinking of that. I think I did a test about it. I don't know if it's inside this. Not sure. Let me try. So want to see if it's inside there. So also suggest more. Oh no, I've removed it. So also suggest more that we can, build also on mobile. So maybe I may be alternating it, a week for web, a week for mobile, and also two every weekend. This isn't easy. My whole full week is a full-time project, I'm telling you. So, but I hope you appreciate it by showing more love, like, subscribe, tap notification bell, share, and please support with donation. Share with other people, share with your project, your team. If you have Web3 project, you want simplified course for it, for Solana development too, you can please support with grants, bounty, and donation to sponsor a course for this build and weekend series. So thank you. I remain Solomon Foskey, and I will see you as you have we have successfully built our first Solana dApp, and I will see you in the next one. Peace and bye.